Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen says he has met with Kilmar Abrego Garcia in El Salvador. Van Hollen pushed for the meeting after much speculation about Abrego Garcia's well-being. Senator says this case is much bigger than one man's story.
We need to make sure that the court system works and due process works, because if you take it away for any individual, it's a very short road to taking it away for every American.
Let us bring in CBS News Department of Justice correspondent Scott MacFarlane. Scott, first of all, how did this meeting happen? Because there was some reporting in days prior that Senator Van Hollen was being denied access to Mr. Abrego Garcia, and then the meeting happened. What are you learning?
A two-day mission by Senator Van Hollen. On the first day of it, Wednesday, he says not only was he denied access to Abrego Garcia, he was denied a phone call to Abrego Garcia. The dam seems to have burst Thursday night with the permission and potentially the logistical setup of the Salvadoran government. They greenlit this thing, and those photos being released, you see the one there on your screen with Abrego Garcia not in jail garb, but with a Kansas City Chiefs cap on and plain clothes. Maybe a political issue that Senator Van Hollen will have to speak to when he gets back from El Salvador late today here in Washington. The Trump administration, the Department of Justice officials have been posting that photo saying that Senator Van Hollen should instead be meeting with victims of crimes by undocumented immigrants versus with one. The senator will likely speak to that issue here. But you have this broader issue. What becomes of Mr. Abrego Garcia independent of this meeting? The president of El Salvador says he will remain in Salvadoran custody in that prison, and the lawsuits, the legal challenges about getting him back continue to mushroom, Vlad.
Yeah, I mean, that image was, I think we were all this morning, Scott, on CBS Mornings, during your reporting, we just sort of wondered of the image itself of Mr. Abrego Garcia in civilian clothing. He looked fairly healthy. Again, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors. We don't know what the El Salvadoran government is hoping to, what kind of image they're hoping to project. So I'm looking forward to hearing more of Senator Van Hollen's report. But we also saw some images from the president of El Salvador, who asserts, as you say, that he's going to stay in custody. And then he's been tweeting what I sort of think are tasteless, or whatever they call them, putting out on X what I think are tasteless sort of assertions about this meeting. What more can you tell us about that?
Yeah, there seems to be some type of synchronicity between the Trump administration and the leadership in El Salvador. They're echoing each other's arguments. This is going to go to the court system. I mean, we had the appeals court for the Fourth Circuit, which is in Richmond, Virginia, but oversees Maryland and Maryland cases, with a scathing ruling Thursday saying this Trump argument about keeping this resident of the United States in prison in El Salvador turns law into lawlessness. That is the rhetoric of a judge that seems to be baiting the hook or triggering the next step, which is going to be another review by the U.S. Supreme Court. This one man's case. It's not only a national news story, it's a big case.
All right, Scott MacFarlane for us reporting from Washington. Scott, thank you.